Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. We're here now. We're talking about First Kings. Well, First Kings chapter 2. Isn't it a beautiful way the year is going? First Kings chapter 2 already. Anyway, so we have quite a couple of characters to go through today. We have King David. This was the last. That is the last verse he was saying in Kings, but then he still shows up again in Chronicles. But that's just repeating the story. So this is like his last days. He died shortly after these events that were, in fact, he died in this chapter. So he starts off and he's talking to his son, who was his true successor. Two of his sons that tried to usurp the throne, but the one that he truly anointed, that was the Lord's anointed, he handed over to him, not just the kingdom. So the first thing he told Solomon was, don't miss the way of the Lord, because that's the trick. That's the what do you call it? That's the original. That's the expo. That's what I was saying. So he first of all cleared that out of the way. He told them that your reign of peace is dependent on whether you stay with God or not. We know how it ended with Solomon. He didn't listen to his father to the end, unfortunately. And then next character we see is King Solomon. And of course he dominates the chapter because that's the beginning of his reign. And he took really decisive decisions. I found them really wise. King David, okay, so let's finish up with King David first. You know, after he told Solomon about follow the way of the Lord, the next thing, he was, people that we thought that matter had finished. I'm sure Joab just thought that, everything ends when King David is gone. But don't offend the elders. Don't do pass in front of the elders. You see, when he killed Abner, King David talked, Abi. I guess at that time he still thought that he could be saved. So he spoke with him and he told him that you stained your belt with blood in times of peace. When he killed Amasa, King David did not say a word. He did not say anything like he knew. There was no comment from King David. You would think that he did not know what Joab did. But when it was time, when the day of reckoning came, he told Solomon that make sure that Joab does not die a peaceful death. He had already carried curse I think it was when he killed Abner, that King David already cursed him, that there will always be someone that leans on his staff that will just be a vagabond in his family. Then on top of that, he now still went to kill Amasa. So he got what was coming to him. And when Joab saw that when Adonijah went to hold on to the horns of the altar, they did not kill him. They told him to go to his house. He did not know that they carry different bases. When he went to do it, King Solomon told Benaiah, cut him down there, kill him there. Okay, then let's go quickly to Abiathar. Abiathar was the priest. I think we spoke a lot about him yesterday and how he must have felt like he was indispensable to King David and his clan. But at the time when he needed to be, King Solomon deposed him, removed him as priest, and it was to fulfill prophecy. That's the interesting part. So sometimes some people, you just need to do what you have to do with them because it's just like Judas. You saying, can we not forgive Judas? His fate was already sealed when he chose to betray Jesus. So same way for Abiathar. Abiathar was, everything that happens to him was to fulfill the prophecy that God gave to the house of Eli. It was from the house of Eli. He was the last man standing. So it had to be removed from the priesthood. It was just what it was, unfortunately. Then Abner and Amasa, of course, got special mention when they were being talked about by David, about them being killed by Joab. And I think what hit me for both of them was that they died similar deaths. David said that Abner died like a fool because his hands were not tied. Joab deceived them. They died due to deception and delusion. In Amasa's case, he was carried away by family sentiments. So his cousin killed him because he was not on guard. He didn't realize that he was the one that was doing cousin. Joab was not playing with him. So let's go to the sons of Barzillai. It was Barzillai that actually extended the hand of fellowship to David when he went into exile because of Absalom. But when David said, Barzillai, come back with me to Judah now that my kingdom has been returned to me, Barzillai said, I'm too old. I can't enjoy all of these things. Let it pass on to my children. And again, it just highlights the importance of leaving a godly legacy for your children, making choices today that your children will bless you for tomorrow. Then we go to Adonijah. Higher. I will go to Adonijah. Now I'm trying to decide if I should go to Adonijah or Benaiah. I think I'll start with Adonijah. Let's do Adonijah first. Okay, so let's go with Adonijah. Then we talk about Bathsheba. We'll talk about Abishag before we then talk about Benaiah. Okay, we'll talk about Shimei as well. And then we end with Benaiah. So Adonijah goes to, after he got a pardon from Solomon. Solomon was his younger brother, and he still got a princely pardon because he was a prince of Israel, right? And after when he found out that Solomon was now anointed as king, he went to the altar. He went to go and hold the horns of the altar and tell Solomon to swear that he will not kill him. And Solomon's answer was wise. He said, if you behave yourself well, you will survive. Because you don't mess up all these other days. You now want to use the Lord's altar for your own personal agenda, which some of us do. Some of us, you've done terrible things. Instead of you to go in true repentance and, basically let God fix you, you use I'm now born again to manipulate people into forgiving you, only for you to continue with your manipulation, because that's exactly what Adonijah did. After he held on to the horns of the altar, and Solomon said, okay, I won't kill you, go home, behave yourself. Then after some time, he now wakes up again, and he goes to meet Bathsheba, and he tells her that I want you to do something, don't deny me. First and foremost, when you die, I know that when you talk to Solomon, he cannot say no to you. And there are people like that, terribly manipulative. Then he tells Bathsheba that, the kingdom was my own. Who gave you the kingdom? Who are you, Adonijah? Who gave you that kingdom? But that after they anointed Solomon, I just left the matter. I could have caused trouble. So why did you not cause the trouble? Why did you not continue? Because that's how some of us behave. You now go and be pulling something. If not that, I just said let there be peace. I would have something to say. Why did you not continue? Why did you not continue so you could collect at that time? And let's play it. So anyway, he goes, and I'm quite surprised at Bathsheba that she goes on and she goes to make that request to King Solomon, which brings me to the point of that sometimes people come with the most ridiculous requests, and because they come to tell us, maybe you're a wife, someone wants your husband to do something and it is ridiculous. You can hear the ridiculousness of it. How about you turn it back? Because if Bathsheba had not gone to ask Solomon for that, maybe Adonijah would have still been alive. Maybe. So I just feel like when we have positions of trust in people's hearts, we should manage them well. That for me, I think, I don't know, I'd like to hear from you, but I'm not sure Bathsheba managed that situation very well, because I think she should have processed it and turned Adonijah back. I don't know. I would really love to hear from you what you think. And again, I said I was going to come back to Abishag. She didn't even have a mention. She didn't have a word in there, but because of her, Adonijah was killed. So obviously she was a beautiful woman. I don't know if there's anything she could have done to save Adonijah, because apparently it was just him overstepping his boundaries. But anyway, I just think it's a good opportunity to also speak to us ladies You're beautiful, but let your beauty be the Abishag that kept King David warm. If there's anything in your power you can do, try not to attract the Adonijahs of this world. Whatever it is you can do. But the unfortunate thing is that the same thing that makes you beautiful to the King David or useful to the King David can attract to you an Adonijah. Just be discerning. Let God lead you. I think that's all I can say about Abishag, because she did not utter a word. And she showed up twice with no conversation. At least Bathsheba tried. She talked. Anyway, so Bathsheba goes and she goes to King Solomon. And I love that encounter. Solomon was now king. He could talk to his mother anyhow he wanted to talk to her. He was the king. But what did he do? As she came in, he told them to bring her a throne. And he bowed down to her. And this is to all of us that we believe that we have attained to some height or the other. And the people that raised us, they could be our parents, earthly parents. They could be our mentors. They could be anyone that has more or less mentored you to this position that you're in. When you get to position, do you see it as an opportunity to then show them that you have arrived? Or do you show them honor? Because Solomon bowing down to her it blew my mind. I was like, wow, it blew my mind. And that's why I really wish that what she went to ask him for was a honorable thing as well. And still speaking to people that have mentored others, have parents, etc. Be mindful of what you're asking your mentees, your children, etc. to do. Don't go and ask them for things that will make them look at your face. Because after such a beautiful, honorable welcome, Solomon had to look at his mom's face and say, what are you asking me? Again, back to mentees. The fact that they are your mentors, the fact that they have been there for you, etc., does not mean that you should take what they are saying hook, line, and sinker. You can push back, but just make sure that you are respectful in your pushing back, because we can see that Solomon did not take what Bathsheba said. He told her that, ask me, because you said you know I cannot refuse you, but he refused that one because that one did not have sense. So the fact that you cannot refuse them does not mean that you should do nonsense. If you need to respectfully refuse. So Solomon refused that request. Mama, we love you, but we don't have to take all your requests. Some of them are not, they don't have sense. We are sorry, ma, but we can't do it. And he was like, this Adonijah, and he was like, go and get him. And then there comes in Benaiah, but I'll still talk about him later. And then he goes on and he says, execute him. And I can't remember if he went again to hold on to the horns of the altar again or whatever. But Solomon was like, cut him down. That's it. Let him go. Go to law. Because he has gone past himself. Imagine. He stole the kingdom and got pardon. Then he asked for a woman and he got killed. Be mindful of the things you're asking for. Some of those small things that you think is not such a big deal is the one that will lead to your death. Anyway, so we're done with Bathsheba and Adonijah. Next, let's talk about Shimei, whatever his name is. The guy did not try. He was supposed to have died when King David became king, but King David forgave him. And you would think, and then King Solomon told him, don't leave the palace, don't leave the country. You're under palace arrest per se. I'm just wondering if he was the one that was mentioned in the previous chapter. So he kept his promise for 3 years. As in, for 3 years, everything was okay. He didn't move. He didn't misbehave. Then, you know that your life was hanging on a thread. Then your slaves ran away. And you didn't think that, let me just let it go. Because he couldn't let 3 slaves go, he lost his life. That's how some of us are. We will win the battle and lose the war. For small matter, we will lose so much. We should be ready to let some things go. I was talking to someone yesterday and it was like, if this other person does not apologize, I will never So you will, because your life is at stake. It is not about this person, it's about your own destiny. There are some apologies that you need to make that you don't think are necessary, but that's what will save your life, because you need to let some matters go. Anyway, so let's finish off with my guy Benaiah. He was one of David's mighty men, and he stayed faithful till the end. When King Solomon became king, he was the one that they will say, go and cut so and so down. He will cut. When he got to the point where, I think it was Joab held on to the altar, he went back to Solomon to ask him, what do we do? He didn't behave like Joab, that would just take decisions on the spot by himself and not go back to his commander. When it was time to kill Adonijah, a prince of Israel, it was still Benaiah that was trusted to go do the job. When it was time to kill Shimei, it was still Benaiah. And then he became the commander of the army. I felt it was a befitting title. And I would love to hear your thoughts. I know it's been a lot to take in, but let's hear from you. Have a great day.